Hello, this is Irina from La La Land Crafts, and I'm here today to show you one of the projects that I made with our Club La La Land Crafts January 2016 kit. This is the project right here. It's a box with the pull-out drawer, and it also has an Easel card on the top. In this video, I'll show you how to make the box, but first let me show you what was included in the club kit. As I've mentioned, this is our January 2016 club kit, and the theme for this club kit was a superhero. Here we have Superhero Marcy with 3 sentiments included with the stamp. This is the stamp set with Mini Marcy, and it has 3 sentiments and some coordinating elements. And also in this kit we have 3 dies. This is the skyline border. Then we have a tab and the arrows and the starbursts. This is actually a set of 3 dies. This nesting die inside will need to be cut out. I usually use regular wire cutters, and you're going to cut the tabs off, and then you have 3 dies in this set. If you would like to subscribe to our club kit, you can find information on our website at lalalandcrafts.com. Now let's get back to our project. First, I'll show you how to make the base for the box. For this, you'll need to cut 2 pieces out of chipboard. I'm using medium weight chipboard. These 2 pieces measure 7 by 8.5. Then you're going to grab your scoring board and you're going to score these pieces at 1.5 on 3 sides. 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. As you can see, I'm pressing pretty hard since the chipboard is a thicker material, and I'm going on each line at least twice. The scores are going to be 1 on the long side and 2 on the short sides. And we're going to score both pieces just like that. 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. After you score them, we're going to cut one of the pieces. You're going to cut out the squares on both sides. I usually do this before folding. It's easier to see the score lines, and cut right in the middle of the line, of each line. Like this. On the second piece, you're going to cut up to the horizontal line. So you're going to cut the vertical lines up to the horizontal lines. Like this. After you cut this, on each outside tab, you're going to cut off a little triangle, a little, I forgot what it's called, it will come to me. So as you can see, I'm cutting from the outside to the corner right here to the score line. That will help to accommodate for thickness of the chipboard once we start folding and putting the project together. So now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to fold on all of the score lines. Because of the thickness of chipboard, I go back and forth a few times, and then I'm going to flip it and go on another side to make sure my folds are nice and crisp. And on the first piece as well. Now I'm going to take my score tape or any other double-sided tape that you're using, and I'm going to apply it on this piece from the inside. So the folds go this way, so from the inside I'm going to apply the tape close to this fold line, and on the outside going to do the same on this large tab close to the fold line and on the outside, and I'm going to do the same on the little tabs. Now let me show you very quick how it's going to go together, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. So this piece right here is going to be inside of the other piece, and we have opening right here. So when you put it together, make sure that your horizontal tabs are on the same end, so you have the opening for the drawer to go into. Now this is the easy way to put it together. I have my piece with the score tape, the tape facing up. I'm going to take my other piece. The folds are going on the inside, so it's on the back side of it. I'm going to line up where this flap is to the fold of my bottom piece. I hope you can see this. Just like this, line it up. Then I'm going to remove the backing of the tape. And I'm going to fold it in like this. Now I'm going to move to fold it this way right here, and I'm going to remove the tape on the other end, line it up and close it in. So you can see it lines up perfectly and pretty easy. Now I'm going to close the tab, this long tab, the one without the tape. I'm going to fold it in. I'm going to remove the double-sided tape from the small tabs first. From both sides. Now it's easier to do it when your project is standing up like this, but I'm afraid you won't be able to see it. So this flap with no tape is down already. I'm going to close small tabs in. Then I'm going to remove the backing from the longer tab, the backing from the tape, and close this in. You might want to use the other side of the bone folder to press on it on the inside, but this is it. So this is the base for our drawer. Now the next step, I already pre-cut 2 pieces of the chipboard. They measure 6 by 6 each, and these are the top and the bottom for our base. I like this look. I think it makes the project look more finished. Now, before I glue them on, I'm going to use Vintage Photo Distress ink and the applicator with the foam attachment, and I'm going to distress the edges of the chipboard a little bit with the ink. This is optional step. I like how it gives a different color difference right here. Makes it look very pretty. Next, I have two squares cut from gold cardstock, and these are 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I'm using the glue glider to attach these layers. You can use double-sided tape or any other adhesive of your preference. Now that I'm done with this, I'm going to use strong liquid adhesive. The one I'm using is 3-in-1 by Beacon. You can also use Fabri-Tac or any other adhesive. The reason I'm using liquid one because I find that it's easier to move the box and the base if it needs to be adjusted. You can easily use double-sided tape if you prefer. I'm going to center it. This is the bottom, so I have my base, my 6x6 layer with the gold cardstock facing up. Now for the top, I'm going to put glue on here. Now I have this layer. I'm going to have the gold cardstock facing up again. Center it. You might have to turn it upside down just to see if you need to move it. Okay, so the base is done. Then I'm going to use these wooden shapes. They're actually little knobs, but I'm going to use them for the feet for the box. It lifts the box off the table a little bit and gives it a little nicer look, I think. So I'm going to turn my box. This is the bottom. I'm going to apply glue to these wooden shapes and set them up in the corners. I try to do them at the same distance in the corners so it looks more uniformed. There you go. Now I'm going to set this aside to let it dry, and I'm going to move on and show you how to make the drawer. For this I have a square that's pre-cut 8 1/8 by 8 1/8, and I'm going to score it on all 4 sides at 1 3/8. Now my scoreboard does not have that measurement, So to make sure my scoreboard does not have that measurement, so I'm going to line up my paper not to the corner, not flush to the corner. I'm going to line it up at 1/8 of an inch at the first mark. I'm going to hold it and I'm going to score it at 1.5. I'm going to do the same on all 4 sides. Line it up at 1/8 of an inch and score it at 1.5. This will give me 1 3/8 score. Once I scored it, I'm going to cut on the horizontal, on the vertical lines up to the horizontal line. So I'm going to do on one side the same way. Then I'm going to do it on the opposite side. So I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do it on the opposite side. After I cut it, I'm going to fold on all of the scored lines and use my bond folder to make nice and crisp folds. Now after I cut this, I'm going to cut the darts out, so little triangles on the inside right here, up to the corner, to the folded corner, and on the outside. I'm going to do the same on all of the tabs. And again, this will help us with the thickness of the chipboard to make the project look neater. Now I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to put the tape on the tabs on the outside. So this is how the box is going to fold. I'm going to put adhesive on the outside. And again, I'm going to put it close to the fold line and on the outside. And I'm going to do the same on all 4 ends. I'm going to remove adhesive. Remove the backing from the tape on 2 of the ends. And I'm going to make sure that the corners are nice and square and close this in. And do the same on the other end. Remove the backing from the tape. Square the corners and close it in. Easy. Okay, so now you have your little box, and it's actually pretty big in size, so you can, it's 5 and 3/8 by 5 3/8. So there is a lot of space here to put a gift album or any trinkets, any sweets, whatever you prefer to put in there, if you're giving it as a gift or if you're keeping it for yourself to store things. Now I already have 3 layers pre-cut, and this is for the front of the box right here. And I have my gold cardstock, black cardstock, and the polka dot paper. Before you attach these layers to the front, if you like to, you can distress the sides with the vintage photo distress ink. So you can put the ink on your applicator and just simply rub it onto all of the folds. Then you can decide whichever side of this box is going to be the front and glue this on. I'm using this metallic embellishment as a pull for the drawer. I'm going to use again my strong adhesive. Put the glue on the embellishment. Center it. And put it aside to let it dry. Now let's get back to our base. I already pre-cut papers to cover the 3 sides of the box here. These layers measure, the gold cardstock measures 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. Black cardstock measures 5 by 1. And the printed paper measures 4 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. The papers that I'm using for these projects are from Simple Stories company, and this collection is called DIY Boutique. So I'm simply going to glue all of these layers together. Printed paper onto black cardstock and then onto gold cardstock. And then onto the box. Now this is the full tutorial. I'm not fast forwarding anything for those of you who need to see all of the steps. If you find something that you already know how to do, you can simply fast forward it. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, if something is not clear, or if you have any questions about the products that are being used in my project, you can always send me email at info@lalalandcrafts.com, or you can post your comment under this video. Okay, so we have 3 sides finished. We have our drawer with the finished end, and it goes right in. Now let's work on the card that goes on top of the box. This is an easel style card. it folds flat like this, so if you need to send this to ship it to your gift recipient, it will be easier to do like so, and then it's displayed this way. For the card itself, I already pre-cut the layer, and this measures 5.5 by 11. I scored it in 2 places. The first score is at 5.5 to fold it in half, 5.5, and the next fold is at 8.25, which is actually 2 3/4. So what we're doing here, we're scoring the second panel in half again. Now I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it on the other fold, like so. So this, actually, I'm sorry. So I'm going to fold the base in half, and then I'm going to fold the other half in. So this gives me a display layer right here. Now my front panel measures 5.5 by 5.5, and this is going to be attached to this panel, to the front flap right here, to the bottom of the base, like so. So I'm going to put the double-sided tape on the outside panel. I'm going to cover this whole layer close to the fold on the outside, and I'm going to run a few more pieces here. I'm going to remove the backing from my tape. And I'm going to align the square, the bottom of the square, to the bottom of my panel. Line it up. And now we have an easel card. Folds flat and unfolds like this for the display. Now the next thing, I'm going to use pattern paper, and this is cut to 5.25 by 5.25, and I'm going to glue it on the bottom, on the inside of the card. On the front of the card, I'm going to glue gold cardstock, and it's the same measurement, 5.25 by 5.25. Now I have 2 pieces of gold cardstock and 2 pieces of the designer paper, and these are going to go on the back of my easel. I like it to be finished all the way around. So on the back right here, we have it also covered. I chose to use the same pattern paper on the bottom, and then polka dotted paper on the top. I'm going to glue them together first. Onto the gold cardstock, and then on the bottom part of the easel on the back. And then the one with the polka dotted paper is going to go on the bottom, on the back of the easel, on the top. Now I'm going to attach this full card onto the top of my box. Make sure that the front of your box matches the front of your card. You can either use double-sided tape here or glue, whatever you prefer. I'm going to go ahead with the double-sided tape. Again, make sure that the front of the card matches the front of your box. Then you're going to center and line it up. Just like this. Now for the front panel, I pre-cut black cardstock, which measures, I believe, 5 by 5. Yes, 5 by 5 square. And then the polka dot paper measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and glue them together. Next, I'm going to embellish it. I already pre-cut a few things here. I have the scalloped circle. This measures about 4 by 4. And this was cut with one of our newer dies. This is pierced scalloped circles. You can see it comes in a set of 4 sizes. And as you can see, it has little dots inside of each scallop. So once you cut it, it's already pierced for you. It's a nice little detail. Then this larger black circle I have measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and this was cut with one of our newer dies as well. And this one is called double stitched circles. And as you can see, it has the stitch detail on the inside of the circle as well as the outside. And it has 4 dies in one side as well. So this was cut with the larger die. Once you cut it, I'm not using this piece on this project, but I just wanted to show you. So once you cut the circle with this die, it gives you the stitching on the inside, but it also gives you the stitching on the outside, as you can see. So this would be the nice, very nice frame to use on a different project. So even though it's 4 dies in this set, it's actually almost like 8 dies or 8 shapes that you can use. And the smaller circle was cut with the designer paper, and this one measures 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And this was cut with one of our older dies, which is called stitched circles. All of these dies are designed to coordinate and layer together. And all of these dies, of course, are available in our online store at lalalandcrafts.com. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these circles together. And then I'm going to glue it into the center of my 5x5 square. I'm not using pop-up or foam for this layer because I'm going to layer more on it, and I need it flat onto the paper. So center just like this. Next I have pre-cut 2 of the skyline with the skyline border that was included in the January 2016 Club Lallan Crafts kit, and I cut one from gold cardstock and one from black cardstock. I'm going to glue them together with the black cardstock on top, and I'm going to offset it to create the shadow effect. Looks very pretty. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue it into my card base. Like so. Then I have pre-cut from the chipboard 2 of the airs from the set. Now I'm going to ink them first. Just add a little bit of the color. And I'm going to glue them a little bit higher, so then when I put this layer on top of my base, they go up a little bit to the black cardstock there. One on each side. Like this. Then I'm going to grab twine. I have it in blue color, and I'm going to wrap it around on the bottom of the skyline border here. I'm going to take double-sided tape and put it on each side on the back to hold twine in place while I'm wrapping it. You can even add a few more pieces if you like to, just to make sure that it stays in place. I'm going to start with one end, a little higher. And I'm going to simply wrap it around a few times. Then I'm going to cut the excess. And I usually put a few more pieces of tape on top of it without removing the backing, just to hold it in place. Like this. Then I'm going to grab a button and a piece of twine. I'm going to thread it through just like if I'm sewing it. So I'm going to go from the top first into 2 holes. This button has 4 openings, and then I'm going to come from the bottom onto the top. And once I have 2 ends on the top, I'm going to tie the bow. Can adjust it and make make it as short or as long as you like to. Then I'm going to use double-sided tape, or you can use adhesive, liquid adhesive, the glue here. And position it to the left side over the twine. Now when you're done this, we're going to attach this whole panel onto the box with the foam tape. I use a lot of foam tape for this layer because I like it to be displayed nice and even. And I'll add a few more pieces in the center. Going to remove the backing from the tape. Okay, make sure that you're adhering the right way. So this is the front, this is the bottom of my panel. I'm going to go ahead, line it up, center it, like this. We're almost done now. Now we need the stopper. We need something to hold this panel in place. I'm using the sentiment that I cut out from the same pattern paper. It says Simply Amazing, kind of goes with the theme. I already have it layered on black cardstock and on gold cardstock. Now I'm going to grab a piece of the chipboard and ink it first. Then I'm going to glue this layer, center it, and I'm going to use foam tape again. And you can see how you like this panel to be displayed. You can have it down more or upright more, wherever you prefer. Find out the way it looks good to you, and then you're going to put the stopper or the sentiment. Try to center it right and left. And here it is. So now it's holding. Now to embellish it a little bit further, I use the other elements from the set. I have die cut these pieces here, the curved airs and the tab. I'm going to ink them first. Just lightly on the sides. Then I'm going to line them up first on my project to see how I like going to arrange them so they come together in a pattern. Then I'm going to take down one at a time, add adhesive, and put it back. Now the next, of course, I stamped my Marcy from the set, colored her with Copic markers. I'm going to put the list of markers that I used on the description of the video. I also used the stars from the mini Marcy set. The stars come with the tails here. I simply just cut out the stars, colored them, and they're glued right here, arranged around Marcy. I used the rhinestones in the centers of the larger stars just for little bling, and I put another rhinestone on the corner here by the sentiment. So this concludes our tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I can't wait to see your projects made with this tutorial. You can find us on Facebook. You can simply search for La La Land Crafts. Don't forget to add LALALAND Crafts, La La Land Crafts. If you're interested in subscribing to our club, go ahead and go on our website at lalalandcrafts.com and click on the tab that says Club La La Land Crafts. Well, that's it for today. See you soon.